Welcome back to the Marbella way. When you're in Marbella, sometimes you should really get out of the town. That's one of the amazing things about the place, is that there are so many places to go. Cultural sites.
Have a weekend away.
Historical sites, a weekend away. Yeah. And today we're going to look at what options do you have when you're in Marbella. Cultural sites, historical sites, cities, towns in Andalusia you really have to visit. So where should we start?
Marbella way.
Yes.
Where should we start? So everyone comes to Marbella, they always think, what do we do when we go there for one week?
What do you think people do in general if they didn't investigate everything on beforehand, which quite few people do, I think.
Yeah.
Because I think the place attracts not necessarily the cultural type, but the thing about Andalusia is it's full of culture.
Actually.
It's like moving around in an old movie.
Yeah.
You're traveling back in time. So we can only recommend that you take time to go out, rent a car.
Take time to go out of Marbella.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of places to go. It depends on what you want to see.
And where would you go? The first place you would go, what would that be?
Question for me. I have so many things running in my mind.
Would you stay in Marbella? Because in Marbella you have the Salvador Dali bronze statues
if you're
on the
into
marble
art,
square.
you can go and see
in the old town.
The Salvador Dali.
Yeah.
Architectural, like the bronze statues and figures, just next to Avenida del Mar. When you are going for a stroll in the beach, take a look at the old Salvador Dali sculptures. That's definitely a thing. But it's just, okay, you watch that for a minute and it's like, what's next? So what I like, if it's good weather, is let's go and tap into a little bit of history.
And is it good weather sometimes?
It's always good weather. So people always want to go out and have the sun.
It sounds like a Danish comment if it's good weather. Everybody, no matter what they say, they always put in the disclaimer if it's good weather. And it's never good weather.
When you meet people in Denmark, it's like, there's three things you have to say. It's like,
everything is subject to good weather.
So how are you doing? And you have to answer good. And the next one is...
So basically we start cancelling everything. And then if we're lucky, something will happen. But it's the opposite in Marbella,
yes,
right?
You cannot talk about the weather because it's always good.
So that's you can plan, and you can also decide that you don't need to plan.
I don't like to plan too much because it's also where the magic happens when you don't overplan things. If you plan things too much, you can also get, disappointed. So I'm the spontaneous type and just go out, Google it, and then just...
If you just go on a scenic drive, and let's say you start in Marbella and you go west along the coast, then you will head towards Sotogrande, which is called Little Argentina. It has a huge green mountain resort, beautiful place, polo courses, and it's actually, the port is actually designed by an American architect.
That's why everything's so well structured.
So everything seems American actually, with the broad boulevards and this very nice harbor.
It's a very attractive place, I would say.
And around there you can go into Jimena de la Frontera. If you go a little bit up from Sotogrande, that's definitely a place to visit.
Yes.
Right? Jimena de la Frontera.
It's an old castle. And I cannot remember how old it is, but it's definitely 400 years.
They have this concept of paradores, which is the old castles made into hotels.
Fortress and castles.
And you can find them in hundreds of locations in Spain. And one of them is Jimena de la Frontera. They have one of those. So you can actually stay if you want for one night. It's just next to a huge lake.
It's a fun experience. It's like kind of hippie.
It's a place where you feel
bohemian, laid back
that you're in the medieval times.
Yeah, and don't bring your heels because there's like all the stone coupled everywhere. You will be walking like this.
And I remember once we heard some cello music, and we followed the sound, and we went into this church, and there was a guy, very long hair. He was just completely...
He had such a long black hair.
He was just into his music completely, and it was very, very beautiful. Mm. So... beautiful, cultural, historical place. Natural, beautiful nature as well. You can see Gibraltar from there, the whole coast, Morocco on a clear day. So that's definitely
But I actually wanted to talk about
important place to go.
The old Roman bath, actually, because there is old Roman baths, and we've been there before, and it's dated back to the time where Julius Caesar was a ruler, and he actually had a campsite exactly at that spot.
And that's on the coast, right?
Yes.
So
just
now
next to Casares. So we go back to Marbella again, towards Marbella.
Okay.
And if you come to Marbella, you go towards Soto Grande.
Yeah.
So it's called Baños de Hidonida. So it's the old Roman bath. And you can have like a mud, put mud in your face. It should be like a lot of therapeutical, effects of going there. And it's quite special. We've been there before, so we was trying to find this
I
place.
remember it was difficult to find.
It was super difficult to find.
Yeah.
But in the end, we found it.
Yeah.
It's definitely a must place to go if you want a mud bath, or if you just want to tap into Julius Caesar's old crib, if you can say that.
Yeah.
Special. Next to Casares.
Yes. Next place towards Tarifa, right?
Tarifa, yes.
Tarifa is the kite surfing capital of Spain, almost Europe. It's known as one of the best places to kite surf in Europe.
Definitely, it's one of the best places to kite surf in Europe.
When you come
And paddleboard
driving
and
along the
kayaking.
coast, you see so many of these kites, right?
And there's
All over
also
the place.
an iconic place to stay, which is the Hurricane Hotel. We
Yeah.
have been there before as well. It's just a beachside location. You can have yoga retreat there. You can go in the bar in just absolutely the front beach side.
And then you have the sand dunes in Tarifa, where you just have like hills, mountains of sand. So that's a fun
if you're
place
into
to,
kite
to
surfing,
roll down the hill.
you have to go to Tarifa.
Yeah.
And you can even rent, a private instructor, rent a place to stay, rent a horse if you want horse riding. And you can be spontaneous because you don't need to book in advance.
Horse riding on the beach.
Yeah.
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 And they have glamping out there,
Yeah,
right? So you
glamping,
can
yeah.
stay you can stay out in nature, but in a nice.
You probably know more about that because as far as you know, I'm not a big camping person.
No, but this is
Yep.
glamping.
Glamping, yeah, I know glamping. I
Yeah, it's the
heard
new
the
thing.
G in it. Yes,
It's the new thing.
it's a new thing.
Yeah.
I didn't look it up in Marbella. Glamping.
There are places where
but
you,
it
you
is
can,
around there.
you can sleep in a glass
Yeah, right.
bubble,
Yeah.
and you can see the stars. So it's more than 5 stars. It's a million stars.
It's fantastic. It's a new concept.
Yeah.
And I will actually link that in this place because I remember now. This place is very, very special. We actually didn't go there, but this is a place you must go
Yeah.
to visit.
So it has more stars than a 5-star hotel.
Is that like you tricked me there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Got tricked. You got
So
me.
next place is when you go a bit further down the coast.
Yes.
You'll find this Roman ruin, which is made into a museum. They have archaeology, a lot of findings from, again, when Julius Caesar came there.
It's 2,000 years
couple of
ago. It was a old
1,000 years
fisherman
ago.
village,
Yeah.
but it is a Roman village.
Yeah.
And now it's like a museum, and you can go there. You can look at the history. You can stroll around the gardens, and you can actually see how it was to live at that time. You still have the old, how to say, the big pillars
Yeah.
as well. Yeah. So it's called Bailo
And it's
Claudia.
interesting to stand in that setting and feel how it was, and then you can see the modern ships in the Mediterranean just behind. So you feel like you're in 2 time zones.
Because I think I've been talking a lot about party. We talk about Marbella.
But what's the funny thing about archaeology and history and culture? Is there something fun about it? I mean, it's interesting.
It definitely, I'm drawn to this. I think it's very, very special to feel. You can feel how it was to live at that time when you go there.
And I think it's, again, many people spend a lot of time, I think almost all of us do, in front of a computer or with our phone. And I can just not recommend enough to go out and have these experiences, meet the culture, meet the history, go to the sites, get out there, right? It's so easy to stay in the hotel room, but these are memories you'll never forget.
Don't go to the beach and stay at the beach all day. Go out and look at these places. And one thing that definitely pops to my mind is Alhambra in Granada.
And it's important to say when we talk about going to all these places that you can make stops on the way. You can have, you know,
You can make stuff.
nice
you can have
little-
coffee. You can have a coffee. or a
nice
glass of
little
wine.
stop on the way if you feel that it's getting too serious.
It's actually a
too
thing in
historical.
Marbella. It's like Ruta de la Tapas. It's like an event, but you actually go like 20 different tapas bars in the end of the day.
And is that
There,
in a
there,
particular
there, and there,
place?
and there. It's like,
Ruta de la
wow,
Tapas?
at the end you have tried all the sherries and
They have that in all the towns, right? It's a Spanish concept, Ruta de la Tapa.
Yeah.
They would have it in Malaga and in...
yeah, but
Yeah.
it's also an event. So sometimes it's there, sometimes
Okay.
it isn't. But you can look it up, all the different places to go. So you can try the local wines, their special signature tapas.
It's like a pub crawl in England.
Yes, like
Same.
isn't that fun? That's a good activity. A tapas pub crawl in
Yeah.
Spain.
And actually, and another important thing about the Camino, we should mention, a lot of people fly into Andalusia to walk this amazing walk through
And it
Spain.
will take 1 month to walk that.
And that actually
you
starts in
go the whole
Andalusia. There's 2 or 3 different entrances to this amazing trek that a lot of people do for their spiritual development journey. And there's so much history as well related to that Camino, that the pilgrims walk there, and it's
I think it's called the pilgrimage walk. If you take that, you have to take 1 month out of the calendar to walk that from start to end.
so that's
But the people who have
definitely,
walked it have been very impressed and had it like a out of the body
if
experience.
you feel like
sometimes.
walking, 700-800 kilometers,
Yeah.
this is the right thing to do.
And there's no phones, only at different kind of points, camps in the middle of nowhere. And I think you have some accommodation as well with the hostel.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
every single
Yeah.
place. They're used to guests coming along, like the modern pilgrim. They
There's
have
a lot of things to
plenty every
do in Marbella. Depends on what you are looking for. If you're looking for going the El Camino, if you're looking for more cultural experience, if you're looking for art, there's also art dealers in Marbella. If you're looking for a tapas experience, you go to different kind of tapas bars to see, the different kind of tapas they have. Or you take your kids out of Marbella and go visit the Roman bath or the museums.
Yeah.
And then we have to mention Alhambra, which
Yes.
is one of this world's 7 wonders.
Yeah, in Granada. And I can only recommend people to spend at least 1 or 2 nights in places like Seville and Granada and Malaga, which are 3 amazing cities around Marbella. So talking about the Marbella way, it's just always very, very important to include the surroundings, because coming back to Marbella when you've had a cultural experience, it's so comfortable. It's such a great life in Marbella, but it becomes so much better when you've had some experiences, some deeper experiences in the area.
And if people are sitting out there and thinking, what is Alhambra?
Yeah,
It's an old Moorish castle or fortress,
yeah,
dated back to start of the 1300. I think it was started the 1300. They start building Alhambra.
it's pretty big.
It's big. It's
So-
impressive.
And
It's,
they have
wow.
these earphones, so you can listen and learn everything about the place while you walk around.
restaurants, it's like
different languages.
2 days of adventure. And you have to go up very early in the morning to
And another must is to sit at the church, St. Nicholas, on the square, where you have the views to Alhambra at night time.
And you also have
You hear some
local
street
bands. Yes,
buskers and
right.
some flamenco music in the street, and you see it's lit up during the nighttime Alhambra, and it's interesting. It's one of the places where we have Japanese tourists, for example. They actually don't visit, honestly, Marbella very much, but they love the culture and the historical sites around. So that attracts a lot of people from all over the world.
If you want to go in there, I remember it started from like $20 to enter, and up to 63. Depends what kind of part of the castle you want to see. There's so many things.
And if you go for the Granada package, I can really highly recommend that you go to Sierra Nevada, which is just uphill from Granada. So that's up to 3,500 meters in altitude, which is the highest mountain on the south coast.
Which is a ski resort.
It's a
The
ski
place you
resort.
go to ski.
And it's a cozy little village. And from up there, you can actually overlook the Mediterranean while you ski. There's a glacier, so there is snow all year, but the ski season is around 5 months. So it's pretty long, actually. It's longer than many other places, and you wouldn't think that because it's such a southern position. And we used to ski in Sweden and Norway, and of course in Europe, Austria, Italy, France, when we grew up. But I just didn't expect that there was such a nice ski resort in the south of Spain.
And a lot of people don't know it, that they can...
When you take the lift up
2.5 hours
in Norway,
go and ski.
when you take the lift in Norway, it's cold. But you get used to the cold, but it is cold. But in Spain, it's not really that cold. You can just have...
You just need your sunscreen on,
Yeah.
and then you're good to go.
So that's a beautiful package to have both the natural experience in the mountains
And I
and
think
then
we talk about
the
that
culture
before
in Granada.
with
That's a beautiful package.
The Marbella Club Hotel, that they have the sister hotel,
Yeah.
lush,
Yes.
there as well.
Yes.
Which is a different
Where we-
experience. It's more like a Swiss chalet style. Have a
And
big patio.
we stayed there, and it was beautiful.
Yeah,
And they have during nighttime, all day basically, but normally you would ski during the day. So during the nighttime, when you come back before or after dinner, you can go to the pool, which is heated. It's really warm.
So
it's like
lovely.
as warm as a bathtub. So it's pretty spectacular to look around and see the snow, the mountains.
Light
and
up a cigar or
and then
grab a glass of
you can-
champagne or
Yes.
green juice, if you're
Yeah.
into that.
Yeah,
And
or both.
Or both.
Yeah.
Everything. Then grab your little towel on.
Back to the good, popular Danish philosopher Søren Kierkegaard always said, both and. It's not either or.
No, both end.
Yeah.
The glass is
Some-
half something or
Some
half
people just want it
nothing.
all. But as long as we have a free choice,
That's
it's
good.
perfect. It's absolutely perfect.
So talking about free choice, let's go back towards Marbella again and go to Malaga. Because a lot of people know Picasso.
So yeah, there's this, again, in
Picasso
the villages
Museum.
we call them pueblos, the Spanish word for a small village. And then we have the old town, basically, in Malaga, which is pretty big and has the cathedral and museums, including the Picasso Museum, including not only the Picasso Museum, but the house he
Yeah.
lived in.
He lived there for 10 years.
Yeah. So you will be able to visit his home and not only see his art, but
It was
be
like
where
the
he lived.
late 1800 he lived there. So have to write that in mind. It's pretty long time ago, but it's still there.
Yeah.
And a lot of people go there to visit
It's actually
the Picasso Museum.
if you're at the cathedral, so the biggest church in Malaga, it's just a few hundred meters down the street. It's very central.
Then you also have the Fontisten Museum.
Yes.
And she is a very
Baronessa von
fine,
Thyssen.
prominent lady. I would say that. She has the biggest art collection in Europe,
Yes.
according to my latest statement.
Yeah.
I think she's
She was
still
married to a German industry magnate, to say the least, who a very big one. So she has one of the biggest, if not the biggest, art collection in Europe. It's very big.
And she also has kind of some, like ties to like elevators and escalators.
When you
escalators.
see these
ThyssenKrupp.
lifts and
Yeah.
so on, ThyssenKrupp, that's from that. That's her business basically.
So she's definitely a colorful lady with very fine nose for art.
Yes.
That's for sure.
And we met the wonderful lady who traveled with her most of her life, and actually have been
Painter.
painting her family
Yeah.
for decades. She had an exhibition as well in Marbella once, and it was a lot of beautiful paintings from the history of this family, right?
Carmen.
Carmen
It's actually her name, Carmen.
is her name, yeah.
Yes.
So we did have to go to Seville as well.
Oh, yes. Seville.
It's-
The barber from Seville.
It's a place to go. You can fly there as well. So you don't have to fly to Malaga. You can fly to Seville, and it's a must. It's they have this huge old town like Malaga and Granada, but they're
But
all
totally
completely
different,
different.
yeah.
One charming thing when you go a bit deeper into the flamenco culture
I think this is what
is that
definitely what is known from flamenco.
yes, that it's a must to go and listen to flamenco in
And
Seville.
it's not the bird we are talking about, it's like the Andalusian
Yeah.
dance and music.
And
And it's
it's
very, very special.
very passionate,
Yeah.
very strong.
Yeah.
Very,
It's like a story they are telling.
they're telling stories, and they also tell stories about the other cities. So the story about Malaga and stories from Malaga, Granada, Seville. So it's very much of a local habit and culture that they had for centuries. It's a way of, we had it actually in Denmark too. It's a way of we just don't sing the songs anymore, but it's a way of remembering history, and it's a way of celebrating history. It's actually a very beautiful tradition.
Yeah.
So
And it's very much integrated in the
we have
culture there.
so much respect, and we just love the fact that they maintain this in Spain.
Yeah.
It's a very rich and beautiful culture.
It's a very nice tradition.
Yeah.
And you will only know what we're talking about if you going and visit one of these places and experience a traditional flamenco experience.
Yeah.
This is very special.
Yeah.
So now we are in Seville.
Yeah.
We go back to Malaga towards Marbella.
So again, please remember to stay a night or two in Seville.
So we've been to the Picasso Museum.
Yeah.
And let's just go back to Marbella again, because it's always good to be out, but it's always nice to return back to Marbella.
Yeah, and
Like-
that I think is the whole purpose that we try to communicate with this message today, is that just go out of Marbella and come back. You will enjoy Marbella much more when you have some experiences out of it. It's amazing and it's comfortable, but everything that's amazing and comfortable can get you can get a bit used to it as well, and then you may forget to appreciate it. So it's just a shame if you don't venture out to all these places, because they're so close. You know, you have Ronda 1 hour away, you have Granada 2 hours away, Seville approximately 2.5. We talked about Tarifa 1.5.
Soto Grande,
Soto
not
Grande,
even 1 hour
not
away.
even one.
Or-
Malaga less than one. So it's like we're talking 1, 2, maximum 3 hours away.
Yes.
And if you don't even have to stay overnight at the destination, you can easily come back to Marbella. But if you really want to experience Seville, Malaga, and Granada, stay for a night or two, and enjoy there's such a beautiful atmosphere at night, because Spanish people love to be out
yes.
at night.
It's but
You know, they
all the magic happens is actually when the dark comes out in Marbella.
Yeah.
It's so charming. So many like flower pots, living like candles everywhere.
and it doesn't close down at
No.
8. It's everything's open until 11 or 12.
And it's just so
at
nice.
least,
You can
or
sit
more.
out in the middle of the night and have not no clothes on. But I mean, no jacket on. You can you don't even need to wear a sweater or a cardigan. Just sit out the whole night. We have warm nights.
Yeah.
So it's just so nice to be out for dinner.
Do you remember the absolutely amazing place we went to in Seville it was just an old style hotel that we went to and had dinner. We'll
Yes.
look it up.
I remember that.
And
It was a Michelin star
very
restaurant, and I
beautiful
will put
place to
that
go.
in the link as well. 'Cause
Very beautiful place to go. So that is a place to go in Seville. In Malaga, where would you recommend to go?
It's a lot of places to go in Malaga. Where would I go?
You love the you remember?
I like the rooftop at some of the hotel, Marriott Hotel, in the middle of the town. There's a rooftop you can
Yeah.
sit and have a.
What
beautiful
about the little place next to the cathedral? You remember where we have?
I forgot
That's
that, and I was
important. That's
actually
a gem.
thinking today
That's a
I have to mention Puerta Oscura,
That's a
the
gem.
black door,
I
the
feel
dark
like-
door. I'm getting so excited to talk about it because this is like the world's
It's actually so much of a
cutest-
gem that you can almost not reveal it.
No.
But we
Maybe
want,
I'll
but we
maybe I'll
want-
just
we
take it
want-
all back now. I don't want to say it.
We want people to have great experiences. So that place is really a place to go. And it sounds so as basic as it sounds to go for a coffee or a drink.
But I think it is more a cocktail place you would go to before dinner.
Yeah.
It's not a place you will hang around. It's just a place you have to go to experience the old Andalusian charm.
And yeah,
It's like going back 50, 60, 70 years, maybe even more.
yeah.
It's like going in grandma's living room with the waiter dressed in a white tux, white gloves on, and he will serve you the finest drinks, and you're sitting there with the old antiques around you, and you can listen to the church bell, and it's just a cozy vibe in there. And nobody really knows it. And this is just one old dark door. That's why it's called Puerta Oscura.
And just around the corner from there, you remember there's a pretty good pizzeria if you want pizza that day.
Yeah,
It's
good pizza
real
place.
Italian.
The best pizza.
Real Italian.
In Malaga.
And they have a good Aperol Spritz as
have
well.
a very good
I
Aperol
remember.
Spritz.
Yeah. So, of course, there are plenty of tapas bars and Spanish restaurants all over the place.
Endless good places to go out in Malaga.
Yeah.
I will put a few little notes in the links so you can check it out.
Should mention
when
now
you're
that
there.
we're in Malaga, we should mention the theater as well. That little
Teatro Cervantes.
place, Teatro Cervantes. Wow, we saw a very beautiful performance in there by the local dance school.
Yeah.
It was very high level,
Very high level.
very surprising. It was very inspiring, amazing. And right there at Teatro Cervantes,
There's a big
you have
plaza.
a few
Big
nice
square. Big
restaurants,
square.
and yeah, you have many small, little. But you can't call them streets. It's
No.
what do you call pathways? Like
Yeah, like
Very-
small,
narrow.
Little-
Yeah,
secret path. Just showing the way to one more wonders of Malaga.
yeah. Muelle Uno. We should mention it's. You can park just underneath. It's
the harbor.
pier,
Yes.
which is completely new, renewed. It's
And
quite beautiful.
you would want to go there if you go to Malaga.
You have like
It's also where
it's a
there's
good
like
atmosphere
the
during
cruise
the day.
ships
So
are.
it's new, it's modernized, so it's a good contrast to the old part of the city, which we just talked about, and it's just 10 minutes.
And you can even take a cruise
from
out, not a cruise, but a boat if you want.
It's where the cruise ships come in to Malaga because it's a bigger harbor.
But you can also
can't-
just, if you want 1 hour out in the sea to see Malaga from the outside, from the seaside,
yeah.
you can do that as well. With no, you don't need to book anything. Just be spontaneous. Go there.
So
have a
we've-
dinner in the port as well.
We've talked about culture, history, and Spain and Andalusia is so rich on that it's great to get guidance. And we've talked about some significant places, and I hope people will visit every single one because they're all amazing. But it's great that the place is so full of these experiences that actually, no matter where you go, all the white villages are beautiful. They're all special. Every single one. So you can't go wrong if you go on a tour, investigating, adventuring. You won't
No.
be wrong. But I think we mentioned some good.
I think we have been around
Very nice
of
gemstones.
them all. So far, we have still endless lists of places to go in and around Marbella. But this is, if you go to Marbella for a weekend, there is definitely these places we mentioned today. Go there and check them out.
Yeah,
Is anything more you want to add today?
I was just trying to calculate out of the approximately 5,000 days we spent. I think we spent maybe, let's say, 10%, maybe 20% on actually going out and seeing the area. And we're not even done yet.
No.
So it just explains how big it
I
is.
said it before we just started.
And again, it's like when we talk about Seville, when we talk about these places, I just want to go back there. I don't want to talk about it as been there, done that. That's not the
can't-
point.
you
The point
can't.
is, I can't wait to
You
go
want
back to
more.
those places.
Every time I
when
when can
are
we
we
go
going
back?
back there?
Can we go back tomorrow?
Yeah.
It's like, it's so nice to be there. We've been around today,
Yes.
and it's a weekend out. So if you are out and about and want to have a weekend away from Marbella, you can check this list out. And until then, we will do our best to find more and more and more places to visit and to suggest for you. Until then, it is the Marbella way, and get ready for your next dose of it.